Hi, I'm here with Charlton, who is a content strategist at Sage, and I'll be asking her a series of questions on her role in the marketing industry. So thank you, Laura, for doing this, of course. It's a pleasure to meet you. And the first question I always ask is, how have you got to where you are today?
So I took the most roundabout route to get where I am. Probably known to man. I decided that like the best thing to do was to do English literature with creative writing, straight out of school, and it was something that I was kind of naturally good at, but I tried events management first and decided that I didn't like it and then dropped out. So I kind of took a bit of a gap year. And I worked across loads of different industries. So I worked in like publishing, I worked in events, I worked in media sales, I worked in the outdoor activity industry. So I tried like loads of different things, trying to find what I really enjoyed doing. But one thing that I found that was like constant in all of that was that I ended up coming back to marketing every single time, which sounds ridiculous, but I kind of didn't realize it was marketing at that point because I'd never really done any of it, officially or at school or anything like that. So I was just sort of doing this fun thing that I enjoyed doing, but didn't really acknowledge what it was until I went into a role in the market research industry and I couldn't do any marketing for the job that I was doing at that time. And that was when I was like, hold on, I've got to go. I've got to actually get myself into a position where I can apply for a marketing job officially. It's not just something I'm doing on the side. Alongside my main role. So I went back to uni and I did digital marketing. Graduated in 2020, and it was during that I sort of saw Sage. I learned a bit about who they were, and I was like, I have to go and work for them. So I applied, I got in. I was a marketing executive for them, and funnily enough, I didn't actually get in straight away. So it was actually the second time I applied that I got in as a marketing exec. So I was a digital trading executive first, and then I've moved across into the social content and advocacy team as a content strategist. Okay. So it's a bit all over the place.
Interesting journey, definitely interesting journey. See, it just goes to show that there's never a point where you will be like constantly people will be unsure, and then of course it will make ends meet, and then of course you'll get to your stage, which is nice. Thank you for that. So the next question I would like to ask is, what made you pick this marketing industry, if there even was anything specific?
So I absolutely love like humans. Again, I didn't do psychology or anything like that at school, but I absolutely love like psychology. I love kind of trying to figure out like different types of people, what makes them tick, like what makes them interested in things. And I think it's that at the core of why I'm interested in marketing, because it's really getting under the skin of people and like understanding kind of why they do certain things, like why is their behavior leading them towards whatever they're going to go and do, and then kind of working out how to interact with it to help guide them to whatever you're trying to kind of like promote or whatever sort of thing you're trying to do at that stage. So it's just that kind of like human element to it, I guess, that I really enjoy. And then on the side of that, like I love organizing things, quite a strategic thinker, and obviously I absolutely love writing, just creating content. I mean, we're all sort of victim, I guess, to the dopamine hit that you get when someone likes something on social media. So yeah, it's a combination of things, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, nice. So what would you say, if there's anything specific here, and what motivates you to go into your role every day?
So I'm really lucky because I absolutely love the team that I work with. They're just a really great bunch of people. They're all really like-minded. It's kind of finding, I don't know, it's like you leave school and it's, you've obviously got your group of friends at school and you're quite close sort of to people in your year and stuff. And then you're thrown out into the big bad world and you're like, whoa, I don't know who anyone is. You start working for these companies and you're thinking, wow, like I don't really understand, where my place is. And then when you find a job that you love and a team that you love working for, it just changes everything. And it's taken me a while to find. It's not to say that I haven't loved jobs or positions I've been in before, but I just, there's a real affinity being in, a team where people are doing the same thing. They've got the same kind of attitude. But beyond that, my role's often quite fast paced. I absolutely love that. I thrive under pressure. And it's just, I don't know, it's just good fun. I love writing. I love the fact that I write for a living. And it's something that, like, if you told me that I would have done this at the age of like 6, when I was, writing little stories and drawing little awful pictures of cats or something to go with them, I don't know, I would never have believed you. But yeah, it's just, I just love that I can say that I do that now. It's great. It's something I'm really passionate about.
Okay, very nice. So with you, of course, you have a lovely team, a lovely company. Inside that, what would you say is, what does a day in your role typically look like? A brief overview.
So I work 9 to 5, but my company is pretty good, obviously, with something like content strategy. I would imagine that there's quite a bit of flex generally with it, so you can kind of start a bit later or start, because you're writing a lot of the time you have to be. So long as you're delivering what you need to at the right time, there's probably room for you, and there definitely is room for me in the company I currently work for to be able to kind of, move my hours back a little bit if I need to for a meeting or for a personal appointment. But I generally work 9 to 5. So first thing I do is I get online, have a look at any emails, check like my messages, see if anything urgent's come in, if anyone needs me desperately for something that has just kind of come up. And then, if not, it'll be a case of going back to look at my to-do list from the previous day. I tend to spend about 10 minutes at the end of every day, as I think probably quite a lot of people do, prioritizing the sort of things that I still need to do for the next day. So it'll just be a case of kind of going back, seeing if I need to push anything in that's new, and then working through that. And I tend to find, I've already said that obviously, like, I spend a lot of my day writing, but outside of that, I tend to find that, project meetings and stuff, I do get roped into them, but we try to keep them quite condensed, because obviously there's a respect that people need to have the time to create the stuff they're creating, to actually deliver that. So I think probably only a couple of hours a day is spent on that. And then sometimes we have like fun Teams meetings and get-togethers and stuff just to chat and catch up with each other. So that's also included sometimes.
Okay, nice. So in your role as a content strategist, would you say that this is a stepping stone, or would you say that you have other career aspirations?
Oh, I'm so bad for this. I'm not one of those people that's like, I've got a 5-year plan. I'd love to be one of those people. I am not one of those people. I think a lot of the time, you can learn something new, and then you might be like, oh, actually, that role sounds much more interesting, or I might go and try this for a bit. So I think you've got to always kind of be open to, the potential for change. I'm someone who's quite driven though. So like, I love the idea of progressing, and there's room where I currently am to progress. So I'm grateful for that. I mean, I think, I'd love to become like the vice president of the social content and advocacy team one day. But hey, it's one of those things, kind of just like seeing how it goes and seeing where it takes me. And at the minute, I've got quite a lot of room to like grow and learn in my current role. So it's definitely not an immediate thing.
So it's in the works then, in the works.
Yeah, watch this space.
Okay, no worries. Okay, cool. So what would you say? Would you say that your roles as you expected to be when you first started, or was it a little bit different?
So I think if you'd asked me, like, it definitely was, after when I was interviewing and stuff, it's definitely as I expected it to be at that stage. I think if you'd asked me when I was like much younger what a content strategist did, I wouldn't have had a clue, because I think a lot of people think it's just, you write words and then you give them to someone and they publish them, or you publish them, or whatever. And it's a lot more than that. It's, obviously there's kind of the strategy behind it. There's the psychology behind it. We spend a lot of time testing different bits of copy, whether that then works on a website, and then optimizing it, seeing if it can be pushed out across different geographical locations, if it needs to be localized. And then optimizing it for sort of shorter and longer length copy. Obviously, shorter copy is actually a lot harder to write a lot of the time. There's a lot of data and science that goes into it, and do actually have to be quite good with numbers. But again, I mean, I was really bad at maths when I was in school. I think it was because I couldn't apply it to anything meaningful. And now that there's something tangible to stick that to, it means a lot more, and I'm a lot better at it. So if anyone's thinking of doing it but is worried that like, it's not just words, but they're great with words, I would say just go for it. There's a lot of variety to it, but it's all really interesting because it means something, and it puts meaning behind those words. So yeah, it's definitely a great role to get into.
Okay, perfect. So final question is, what is the biggest challenge that you had to overcome at your workplace, and what is the best advice you could give to someone who's just starting out?
So I think biggest challenge would just kind of be going back to what I said before, which is like the fact that people don't really understand what goes into content strategy.
Yeah.
So it's not just, you know, I haven't just pulled some words out of a magic hat and then thrown them onto a page and handed them over. It's, you know, there's a lot of like data, understanding of psychology, research that goes into that. So, you know, they might come along and be like, hey, can we change this word? And it's like, no, actually, like search engine optimization, like have given us that as a keyword. And if we take that out, then we're not going to rank anymore.
Yeah.
You know, and there's a lot of kind of that just not quite understanding yet, but it's getting better. And I think it's something where content is becoming a really valued and, you know, more understood skill set. So I think that's probably the biggest challenge that I face. But in terms of like the best advice, I think just, you know, learn as much as you can, like write as often as you can, read as often as you can, and just go for it. If it's something that you're really passionate about, then, you know, see if you can find someone to support you. Don't be afraid to reach out to people who might be doing the role already. Don't be afraid to reach out to companies and ask what they're looking for beyond just the interview specs that they've put online. But, you know, at the end of the day, if you're passionate about something, you will succeed. So just throw yourself at it.
Okay, thank you. There it is. That's Laura Charlton's best advice. Keep at it and stick with that drive. Thank you so much, Laura, for doing this interview. It was fantastic. I really enjoyed talking about your role. Hopefully I hear from you soon. Enjoy your day and goodbye.
Thanks, you too.